go through this. So first objective, take your time. You have almost 2 minutes a move to make your moves. 40 moves in 75 minutes, trust me. Half the games are over at move 40, half are longer. If you're still going to move 40, we can usually tell if it should be a win, a loss, or a draw. Doesn't mean it'll end that way, but at least it tells us where we're going. But we want you to get to move 40 with as little time on your clock as we can, because that means you thought and you had a chance to find all the right moves. Okay, so it looks pretty even here so far. White's playing a standard setup, so no hurry about he can make his moves quick here. Okay, targeted here. I've seen positions where White gives that pawn up and just gives Black fits. It's something in a similar setup to this, but not exactly. I fell on the wrong end of it. That's why I remember. Okay. So, sometimes I call this this style of chess trench warfare. What do I mean by that? Well, see the pawns? All the White's pieces are behind it. So, there's the trench and all the guys. But now Black, he snuck a couple of guys out in front of the trench, but the rest of Black's pieces are behind his. So neither side is really challenging either side. There's only 2 legal captures on the board that I can see, and of course they're both bad. But there's they haven't come into conflict yet. Let's see what happens. Right now it's just jockeying for position. Okay, White's playing for a b4 break. Black may be playing to trade off this bishop. Now, choices are White's rook e1, and when the bishop comes here, you bring it back. And I've seen that done a number of times. I don't like it myself. I have a game I can show you. I sometime if somebody really wants to see it as a correspondence game. Played against the 2400 from West Germany back circa 1986 to 89. The books gave a recommendation to drop the bishop back. I didn't like the positions, and so I kept it on and let him trade it. And I didn't miss I didn't miss my light squared bishop at all, and I proceeded to outplay him. Okay. So here, now this puts the question to the bishop and stops this in one shot. Okay, good move. Now, what should Black do now? Should he save his bishop? Some people say, oh, I got the bishop pair. Some people say, well, I got the knight pair. I'm one of those guys that likes knights. But you do have to respect that sometimes 2 bishops can kill you. It's going to cost Black time to save his bishop. But, this is the first White man to step beyond the trench. I think Black could, what's Black's break here? Maybe he wants to play for b5. He's a little ways from doing that. Or maybe he's waiting for this and this so that he can occupy the a file. Now, so one interesting candidate move that strikes me in mind is to place the knight on c7. That way, if White takes the bishop, Black takes back, and his knight is kind of centralized. Okay, I mean, just ideas. So he decides to save it, tempo the queen, close down the diagonal of this bishop, and now he goes back here. Okay, reasonable plan, nothing wrong with it. So what would I do with White? What will White do here? Well, you have to be careful about a move like b4. Nothing is protecting this knight. So maybe White will play a waiting move first. Let's see what happens. I went that way. Okay, well that protects the knight. Black to play. He lost access to this square. Oh, I do that from time to time. Okay. Back. It gamed around, but I don't even know the result. Back, how many? Back 38. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Why isn't this? There we go. Okay. Queen c7, e4. Now it's starting to take on the King's Indian defense type positions. But White has lost a tempo with this. Remember, his pawn was on e3. there's that b5 thing I was talking about. So the c file is open, but neither side's on it. White could maybe develop the queen here and gain a tempo here. This may advance. You know, see what happens. Okay, that's a good move. Might even be winning a pawn. My goodness, how are you going to guard this?
Check.
Okay, so White just stole a pawn. Now White has access to this fine square. Deprived. Now this is too early because the pawn on d4 is overworked. It's guarding two squares. Okay, there's maneuvering some more. White's got the c file. And White's going pretty quick, and Black is starting to run low on time. And apparently the game has agreed to a draw here. I personally think White should have played on. Okay, let's reevaluate this. White does have a triple battery on the c file, and what is Black going to do about that? Well, you know, he's going to have to either be chained defensively to that knight or try to redeploy it. Now, the best square for, let's get rid of the arrows. The best square for this knight, in my mind, would be here. And then what good square for White's knight would be, you know, there. So, you know, one thing we can try, get the knights over here. Now, the bishops seem to be pretty bad here, but White actually may be looking okay here, simply, you know, because of his possession of the c file. This bishop can on g2 can come back to f1 and pressure this. White could also redeploy this knight to c3. You know, then there's fire on b5. Another idea might be if at some point, let's get this knight to d3 and consider a positional sacrifice. Run that pawn up to e6 and drop the knight into e5. I think White was justified in playing on. Just the fact, you know, because the pawns seem locked up, this game is nowhere near a draw. I did some videos already. They're up on my YouTube channel about fortresses, where one side tries to create a fortress the other side can't break through, and sometimes a fortress will work and sometimes it won't. And, you know, my gut feeling is this fortress for Black is not going to work. Okay, you know, well played. Slow down a little bit, White. Okay, Black, you did great on your time. Good game, gentlemen. Thank you.